For the record, when this issue on meters were raised yesterday, we did approach the Mako member for Energy, Xanthia Lindbergh, had agreed she will talk to us, couldn't find time this morning to chat to us, but hopefully in the next few days we would have arranged a conversation. I had, and our producers had, booked the Mayor Geordin Hill-Lewis to talk about the city's plan to object to Eskom's planned 44% tariff hike currently before the National Energy Regulator. Mayor, really appreciate your time. Let's start there, and I would have to raise the issue with meters because listeners have been raising it, and apparently there's a protest on Prince George Drive. Let's talk about the city's rejection of the Eskom tariff hike. 44%, and already people who are in South Africa, households are suffering under just the burden of a cost of living in South Africa at the moment.
Thank you. Good morning, Lester. The quantum of this increase is just insane. It's off the charts. We've had more than 400, close to 500% electricity price increases in South Africa over the last decade, but we've never had a proposal like this. This will still be the biggest of them all, so if it's approved, of course. Now, I suspect that Eskom thinks that it won't be approved, so they're kind of shooting high and hoping for somewhere. But even if it's approved in the 20s or 30s, it would still be so massive and so unaffordable for people. And over and above that, they haven't given an explanation for why there is a different proposal for municipalities, a higher proposal, 44%, and direct Eskom customers at 36%. Remember that, as I've often been at pains to say, the city is, and all municipalities in South Africa are Eskom customers, just like anyone else is. And so this would hit us extremely hard and would ultimately have to be passed on to the customers. So it's really important that we get the message across that this is totally unaffordable to NERSA when they do this deliberation.
And that leads to the question from Mary. Please ask the Mayor why we are paying so much more for units than Eskom supply, as well as a monthly tariff on our rates account.
So we buy electricity from Eskom at price X, and then we have to reticulate it around the city. So Eskom provides a kind of big incoming pipe or incoming cable, and we have to take that power and then reticulate it around the city to all the neighborhoods and houses. We also do things like provide power and service for all of the hundreds of thousands, more than 400,000 street lamps in Cape Town. And all of that means that there is an additional cost on top of what we pay for the raw material, so to speak, the power that we receive from Eskom. And that's the case for every municipality in South Africa that has to deliver those services and maintain our own infrastructure and grid around the reticulation network.
Currently, are home user tariffs cross-subsidizing those who are on Lifeline tariffs, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, so very significantly, yeah. The Lifeline tariff is very heavily subsidized in Cape Town, and it also provides the 60 free units, which is, of course, free for the person receiving it, but not really free. It's cross-subsidized by everyone else. So that cross-subsidy is also built into the tariff, which obviously Eskom does not compensate us for or anything like that. So that is also part of it, yes.
Let me talk about meters and plenty of messages today and yesterday. And as I said, we had been in contact with Mako member Limburg, who would get time for us. But you're on the line with us. There's currently a protest on Prince George Drive. What is currently the situation regarding this meter replacement program, which many people saying they have not been aware of, Mr. Mayor?
Okay, so I'm not familiar with the protests. So I'll give you the information that I have. The city has for many years been working through area by area doing the meter replacements from the old-fashioned kind of mechanical meters to digital meters and obviously prepaid meters. And as that has been going through the city, I remember probably 5 years ago it moved through Edgemead as well, and there was a lot of kind of controversy, I suppose, from some people. But the fact is, the city is intent on trying to get as many people to move over to prepaid meters as possible. That makes it much simpler from our perspective to ensure that payment happens, because obviously you're paying up front, and so we don't have to, it saves us a lot of resources on credit collection. And then, the price is exactly the same. I really just want to, this is a very, very common misconception that I get, that somehow people think that they are being charged more on the prepaid meter. That is simply not the case. All of our tariffs are really transparent and available on our website, and we don't have a postpaid tariff and a prepaid tariff. We have one tariff, and it applies to everyone. You're paying exactly the same.
I'm an Eskom customer, Geordin. Many people saying, well, in the last few weeks, I have seen an increase in the cost of my electricity, but isn't it also just connected to the city's own tariff increase that came into effect on the 1st of July?
Yeah, that's right. Remember, Eskom's financial year starts on the 1st of April with the rest of government. The 1st of March, 1st of March with the rest of government. And so you would have seen your increase, Lester, on the 1st of March. And the city and all municipalities in South Africa have our financial year end of June. And so our new financial year starts 1 July, and that's when you will see our increases.
I'm being asked, please, from Terry, please ask the mayor about the usage charge. It's an extra burden which is increasing annually.
The usage charge is actually a way to reduce the burden on middle-class families. Let me explain why. There are a large number of families and businesses in Cape Town and around the country who we know are going off the grid for obvious reasons. And when that happens, they stop contributing to all that cross-subsidization that we spoke about earlier. That means that all that cross-subsidization has to be paid for by a smaller pool of people as the wealthier among us go off the grid. So by forcing everyone, including those people who have gone off the grid, most importantly, that's what it's really aimed at, to contribute to the fixed costs of running the grid itself, you make sure that they cannot kind of get out of the responsibility of that cross-subsidization to everyone. So now, instead of the cross-subsidy being paid by that smaller pool of people, mainly in the middle class, who are feeling the cost of living pressure the most, you have it being paid by that original bigger pool of people, including those who are checking out of the grid. So it's actually a really important equity mechanism that protects the middle class from having to pay higher cross subsidies. So if in the absence of that, tariffs for those still on the grid, you and me and the middle class people, would be much higher.
Let's talk about protection for the middle income and working class households. And yes, the city does boast it provides the most free basic water and electricity amongst our metros. Yep. But where is the protection for the middle class, for working families who fall just out of those bounds of requiring Lifeline tariffs, requiring free basic amenities? Where's the protection for myself, for Mario, for Bruce, for many other people who fall in the middle, Mr. Mayor?
No, I agree with that. The middle class has been the hardest hit in South Africa by all of the tax and tariff increases over the last decade or more. And that's precisely why we're making the argument that we cannot see increases like that being proposed, because it's not really about the poorest of the poor, because as you've said, we do actually do what we can to protect them and provide them with free basic electricity and so on. It is about the people who pay for all of those things, and that is the middle class family. So that's precisely why we are so vocal in opposition for this increase.
But whatever the increase that NERSA will approve or may not approve or whatever, and we will see an increase, we just don't know what quantum that is, that would have to be passed on to City of Cape Town customers as well. There's no guarantee. I'm sure you wouldn't want to make an assurance that there won't be any increase in the next financial year for struggling middle class families who are City of Cape Town customers, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, as I explained at the beginning, we have no choice. That is the starter. That is the base cost which we are exposed to, is the cost at which we receive that bulk electricity from the main Eskom supply, and then have to reticulate it around the city. So that is an enormous, I mean, that would be just off the top of my head, about 400 million rand a month. That would be the cost to the city of that increase. So there's no possible way that any municipality in South Africa can absorb that. You have to pass it on to the customer.
Mayor Geordin Hill-Lewis, really appreciate your time.